All right. Hi, Danielle.
Hey, Kelsey.
Everybody, I'd love for you to meet Danielle. Danielle is going to be sharing her story today um, of the success she's had in her health journey, and you're sure to be inspired. She's a really cool story, so I would love for y'all to get to know her first. So before we jump in too much, Danielle, do you mind just sharing a little bit about you and who you are?
Sure. So I'm 34 years old and I have three kids. My youngest is one, so pretty crazy. I am a nurse practitioner, and throughout for the last 6 years, I've been a nurse practitioner. I've worked full time and part time and PRN, and because of COVID and everything, I'm currently just working PRN, so about 12 hours a week. Um, and I started working with Kelsey, 3, 4 months ago. Um, and yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
Yeah, thanks. So tell us a little bit about where you were in your health journey before we started working together and what some of your frustrations were.
I think my biggest frustration was, I've been, into, working out and, trying to be healthy and everything. But when you have a lot of little kids and, you're working, your time isn't, all of your own. And definitely, stress creeps in there. And I think my main thing was I just felt, out of control, kind of that, I was on a roller coaster and life was happening to me and I really didn't have any, say in how things were going. And life is wonderful and I'm happy, but I just didn't feel like I could get, a full handle on, lots of aspects of my life. Um, and, with COVID and, we're dropping from full time to kind of more of a part time PRN type thing. I had a lot more time to think about it and a lot more time at home, a lot more time with all of my kids, being their primary caregiver again. And I just realized my life was crazy and I needed to kind of get control over it. So I ran across your group on Facebook and kind of joined it. And then you offered that free session. And I was like, what do I have to lose? So I don't know. I feel like once I had that conversation with you, right off the bat, I felt, totally comfortable, um, talking with you, and very empowered by the time that I got done, kind of with that, introductory session. I don't know what I was expecting from it, but you felt very confident that you could help me. And I think that really kind of, I was like, well, if she feels confident, you know, well, maybe I can do it. I don't know. Um, I just felt very empowered by that, conversation. And so I decided to give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you make a good point, like going from sometimes we think like working full time is the hardest thing, but being at home and
Oh
figuring
yeah.
out the organization of everything with kids
Yeah.
running around. Like on days when I'm home with my kids, I'm like, man, this is even harder. So, so you've
Yeah.
managed to make it work and balance a work schedule on top of that. So, cool. Yeah, and it was fun talking to you even from that very first session. So, um, Danielle has fit right into
Hmm.
our group, and it's been great. So, so you kind of talked a little bit about beforehand. Do you want to talk a little bit about um, where you were as far as how much weight you wanted to lose and kind of the progress you've made there?
Yeah. So, I will never have my pre-baby body, of course, but I feel like I can get, down there where I feel, comfortable in my own skin again. And I had probably about or have, 40 to 50 pounds that I wanted to lose. Um, because I had not lost a lot after my last baby at that point, and was feeling discouraged by that, but um, so throughout this, 12 weeks, and I don't want to say it was just about the weight, and I don't know that that's even the biggest part of what I learned, through this process, but I was able to lose about 14 pounds through our 12 weeks. And, but more than that, it was, because I feel like I'm an intelligent person, I know a lot about, health and wellness and, things like that. I have some great resources around me. I've lost weight before, after my other two, pregnancies. I think it was more the mindset piece of it. Like, okay, I know what to do. I just need to do it. Well, it's that part, the doing it part,
Mhm.
that I needed help with, kind of reorganizing my thoughts and, um, becoming, passionate about it again. And yeah, that whole mindset piece.
Mhm. Yeah. And what other things have you noticed have changed for you personally since you've kind of gotten your health back on track?
Um, I think this leads into another question that you were going to ask later, but the biggest thing that I've learned from this is like freedom from my thoughts, so whether it's, waking up first thing in the morning and being like, looking in the mirror, I'm a lot bigger than I, want to be or feel comfortable with, or, okay, what's all the things that I have to do today, and getting that organized, or, what's for dinner, just constantly feeling disorganized and not knowing, again, being on that roller coaster of, just trying to react to all the situations in my life rather than, becoming organized, um, and having everything kind of planned out, um, and being, I guess, having freedom from that kind of craziness in my brain.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's cool too how, as you've gotten organized, it even influenced your family, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Danielle got her husband on board too, so it's awesome. um, yeah. So tell me a little. What are your thoughts if people were considering, working with a coach? Would you recommend that? Is that something that you think is helpful? Maybe versus joining another type of program like Weight Watchers, etc.
Yeah, this is a bit different because I have done, Weight Watchers in the past. This is more like, and I don't know what you want to be called, but it's more of like a life coach, I feel like. Um, in a way, we dove into a lot of different aspects of my life that I was feeling out of control in. And we tried to like streamline those and make them, um, easier for me to, handle and, figure out better ways of doing it. And I think, like I said, I know what to do mostly about being healthy and, making those decisions. This was more, um, I just lost my train of thought. Um, I think sometimes it takes another person looking at, your situation and what you have going on to, really, really make changes. Um, there was several things like, that you would say sometimes, and I'd be like, well, duh, like, why didn't I even think of that? Like that seems like an easy, simple concept, but if somebody kind of points it out to you, it, even, my husband not even noticing things like that, or other people around you that's close, but somebody removed from the situation on the outside, I think can really help, show you things about, what's going on that can really help.
Yeah. Yeah. And you always did such a great job of responding to those thoughts and being like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And you did a great job of like carrying that forward. And I was going to say too, one of my favorite things about working with you was just by the end, how you were able to take that passion for what you learned and pass it on, to other people too, which is really
Hmm.
cool to see. And obviously being a nurse practitioner, like you're going to have continued opportunities to work with your patients with all the positive changes you've learned. So that's been really cool. So,
Yeah, it's really helped, a lot of things. I feel a whole lot, more calm and, we've just had a kind of, crazy Thanksgiving week, and, um, I feel confident that I have the tools, to kind of get back on track. Um, and I don't feel like, oh, eating a big Thanksgiving meal and the dessert, then you start to think about, shouldn't be eating this, and, yada, yada, yada. But knowing that, okay, well, this is the plan. The plan is to enjoy Thanksgiving, and then, you know, get right back on track. And then I feel empowered, and I don't feel hopeless by, all the things that we learned and talked through and went through. And if you trust in the process, um, I don't know, I've gotten a lot of benefit out of this. So,
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest goals, is that by the time we're done working together, that you feel like you have the tools you need to continue to lose, or to maintain, or just to meet whatever goals it is in your health. So I'm glad
mhm.
that you feel that way. And that's another thing we talk about too, right? Like you don't have to suffer and not ever eat anything you like again. So I'm glad you feel like you could enjoy your Thanksgiving and uh,
Yeah,
jump right back to getting on track.
I did feel that. And I don't feel like this the whole process, I've not been on a diet. I've not been, it's all bigger than that. And I remember back to our first conversation that we had, I was like, I wanted to know, me being, I wanted to know the process that you were using, the tools that you were going to give me, like measurable, outcomes and things like that. And, you were, like, well, I mean, we talk and we work through all of this. And so it was kind of, I don't want to say vague, but it wasn't as like clear cut as what I was looking for. Um, and I know why now, I can see it, you know, um, and I really think that if, um, anybody is in that, wanting the freedom from their thoughts and just to be at peace and just to, trust in the process, I really think that you can help them. They don't have anything to lose. So,
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, it's cool too from my perspective, as we've been in the group too, because everybody has different needs, and that's why it's hard for me to say, well, this is exactly what we're going to do. But it's been cool
yeah.
to see you guys like help each other to
Hmm.
figure out parts of your life that maybe you didn't even know that you wanted
Hmm.
help with too. So, yeah. So, what would you say, Danielle, is your number one piece of advice to people who feel stuck in their health or their weight journey?
Um, my number one piece of advice, I think for me, there was something that you said early on in one of our meetings, and it was imagine. I don't know the exact quote, but imagine what you will be able to think and accomplish and do if you aren't thinking about like your weight all the time, or thinking about losing weight or trying to lose weight. And that was incredibly profound for me because, I mean, I don't stand in front of the mirror going, I'm bigger than I want to be, but it bleeds into that thought, kind of bleeds into so many different aspects of your life, whether it's, you're too tired to go do that with your kids, or, you know, um, feeling, depressed about a meal that you shouldn't be eating, or, you don't want to be in that picture, or, you know, whatever it is, or you don't want to take that beach vacation because you'll be in that bathing suit. I mean, it can totally, put a negative veil on a lot of different things. And so to have that lifted and to have freedom, from that, I mean, think about what you would be able, to accomplish and do all those other things, the dreams and goals and everything that you think about that maybe you don't think are achievable. I mean, that whole door can open up once I've got this part of my life figured out. Because if I think about it, I sometimes do, and I have devoted a lot of negative energy and time to thinking about that. And so again, to have freedom from that, and you know just not thinking about it all the time, I mean, sky's the limit, right?
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because that is my, that's my biggest passion within this, is that you end up through this process being more able to do whatever your God-given purpose is, because you feel free from whatever bondage you're under with your health journey. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. that
Awesome.
was incredibly profound for me. So
Well, if somebody found you in our Fit for Life community, do you care if they reached out to you and, asked for your advice? Because you've been such a great example to people.
yeah, for sure.
So, well, thanks so much, Danielle. I'm so proud of all the work you've done and can't wait to see, what goals you accomplish next, because I have no doubt that you will do amazing things and continue to do them. So thanks for taking the time to talk to our community and to share your story. I know it's inspiring to so many. Again, so proud of you. So
Yeah, thank you.
thanks, Danielle.